Alright, we're going to start by filling a bucket full of water. This one is about 10 gallons. You can use a 5-gallon bucket, you can use a garbage can. Either one works. Alright, there we go. Alright, where I live, alfalfa is available in 3 different ways. One is a hay bale, the other is alfalfa pellets in 30 and 50 pound bags, and the other is alfalfa cubes. Both the hay bale and the pellets are way too much, so I use the cubes. Now the cubes are available to me in 5-pound bags, which is just the right amount. This happened to be $3. The price varies during the year, I guess just depending on availability. So for each 5 gallons of water, you want to add 4 cups of alfalfa. You don't need to be too specific about that quantity. Just get it generally about that much. And all we're going to do is put this alfalfa in the water and let it sit for 3 or 4 days. I've let it sit up to a week. And let it steep in the water. So I'll call that about a cup, so I'm going to add 8 handfuls. Alright, so you can see this alfalfa in this cube form is really hard. It's compressed and it really takes a lot of effort to break this up. So when we put it in the water, it's going to soak up water, expand, and we want this to become, you know, kind of like a slurry. It just kind of breaks up in there, and it's going to release all the nutrients in the alfalfa. It's great if you sit this in the sun. Some people cover it with a lid. I've got it in an area that gets mostly sun all day. I think it's going to do fine right here. I've done this several times. It actually works great. So let's see what it looks like at the end of 3 or 4 days. Now each day, about once a day, you just want to come in here and stir this up. Just with some sort of stick or whatever you've got, and just mix it up. So every day you just want to come out and stir this up. You can see how the alfalfa floats to the top and it's kind of gassing up a little. Just want to give it a really good stir. Let this air out. Let those contents mix up. Kind of smells like, you know, wet hay a little bit. It's pretty pleasant. And after these contents don't float anymore, usually 3, 4, 5 days, it'll be ready. Alright, so it's day 4 and you can see the contents aren't floating anymore. So I'm going to give this a good stir, get everything mixed up, and it looks really good. It smells actually kind of sweet, a little bit like wet hay. It's definitely not objectionable. So this is ready to put in the garden. So in this, I'm going to add some fish emulsion, some kelp, and a handful of Epsom salts. I'm going to give that a good stir. Let those Epsom salts dissolve. Let everything mix together. So I'll go ahead and get some of this out. I've got my water jug filled half full. And I'll just pour this in. Now, because there's some suspended alfalfa in there, I'll go ahead and take off the strainer because it'll get clogged up. And one important thing to remember about this is that it's not compost tea. People call this alfalfa tea, and I think there's a little confusion on the difference because both of them are called teas. Compost tea, you're trying to grow and release bacteria and fungus from compost into a suspended water solution. This, we're trying to extract the fertilizer essentially from the alfalfa, and so that's the fundamental difference between compost tea and alfalfa tea. Is this is more like a fertilizer, and the compost tea is meant to extract the bacteria and fungus. So I'll pour this on the base of the plants, all kinds of plants in containers. I do this instead of watering for that particular time. I like to hand water as much as possible. So instead of using rainwater or tap water that particular time, I'll use the alfalfa tea. Now once your container gets a little less full, you can add the water directly and keep spreading that around your garden. So I've gone ahead and used the contents of this container. I'm going to go ahead and dilute it one more time, and then I'm going to use that on some young transplants that I've started. And here you can see I've let the contents settle probably for about 5 minutes. And I'll go ahead and just take some, put it in my watering can. Now I've put the strainer back on the watering can. I'll go ahead and water these plants that are getting ready to be put in the garden. These have been out here a few weeks. And I let the water settle mainly because just keeps everything from getting the strainer clogged, and I want a real diluted solution to put on these young plants. I use this weak solution on lettuce too, and I just put it right at the base of the plants. Alright, you're going to get to the point where all that's left is the alfalfa at the bottom. And what I do is just pour it into a bucket, and then I'm going to spread it on the garden soil at the base of some plants. It's a great organic amendment to your garden soil. It'll keep all the little microbes happy. Add some more fertilizer. You can also put this in the compost pile, but I just like to add it directly to the garden as well as potted plants. Here's a pot that I'll be planting some eggplant and zucchini in, so I'll add some to here too. So we used everything in the mixture, from the alfalfa at the bottom of the bucket to the liquid. It had the additives of the fish emulsion, the kelp meal, as well as the Epsom salts. It's a great organic fertilizer. You can see the bag that I originally had is still probably 2/3 full, so I could do this a couple more times. So it's very inexpensive. I hope you like this video. Please remember to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.